everybody, then yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you, Josh, for coming here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate your time. So let me get started. Today we have Josh from Qumulex. He's one of our partners that helps us sell security cameras and a lot more. So I'm hoping we can kind of get a lot of questions answered today. See how they may help with the healthcare industry. Who needs them? Why do we need them? And what makes your product different from the other ones?
Great.
I'll let you introduce yourself.
Well, sure. So my name is Josh Bowman. I am the Director of Marketing and Product Management here at Qumulex, and been on board for going on almost 5 years. So I was actually one of the first employees before the product was even released, and just really enjoyed help building it and seeing all the success after the release and just helping to grow it. So really excited to be here and appreciate you having me.
Very welcome. Thank you. So let's get right into it today. So you guys deal with security cameras and access control. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
So I work in the healthcare industry as a managed service provider. I know a lot of times they're trying to we just can't handle the IT work or the technology.
Mm-hmm.
But now you guys have a new player in the game, allowing MSPs to sell cameras as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually pretty cool. I mean, what differentiates your product from, say, if one of our healthcare providers went to bought, say, a Ring camera or a Rise camera? What would be kind of the differences? Why would you choose one over the other?
Yeah, 100%. And again, thanks for the opportunity to be here and talk about it. I mean, we come from a group of founders that have built several successful products in that security industry over the years, and this one was actually built specifically to be used as a managed services tool. So from the ground up, we've built this to be something that allows remote management, very cyber secure, while still being open platform to work with any of the leading cameras and all of the leading door hardware. And versus some of the early cloud entrants, really came from more of a Silicon Valley approach, which isn't necessarily bad in every way. But one thing that they do very differently, of course, is they're very proprietary. They're kind of a walled garden, and maybe that's okay. I'm a little bit that way with Apple. Not everything is wrong necessarily when it's a walled garden, but in security, there are thousands of different brands of cameras. There's hundreds of different manufacturers of door hardware, and you're going to find, even within a specific vertical industry like healthcare, each organization buys differently. Each organization may have different cameras in place already. And for those types of customers, they don't have to throw everything away and start over. So another thing that really differentiates us is not just the fact that we've made it easy to manage these devices remotely and at scale, which you need to do in managed services. And it was something that managed services in our security industry hasn't really taken hold the way it had in IT post cloud, right?
Not at all.
So we wanted this to be a tool to help promote that, and of course makes us a natural fit for those who are already in that managed services world, because you don't go to each computer and update BIOS. You don't go to each computer and update antivirus. You don't go to
hope not.
You can't do things one by one. You can't go and just sit down at each station like when I was in IT in the late 90s. That's just, we don't do that anymore, and you can't manage at scale that way. So, but to do all that, and again, work with what you have or what you would prefer to buy. So if your customer has a specific need, something you learn as you get more into the security camera world is there's a lot of great cameras, and they all have kind of a different field of vision. Some do better at night than others. Some give you, multiple heads on the camera for more of a 360 view. Others are much more focused for long range. So you want to be able to take from all those quality options that are out there, and then know that you can invest in a service that's actually going to not just be compatible with those cameras, but these cameras are now coming loaded with AI capability. And whether it's people counting, understanding aggressive language or behavior, counting the number of blue cars that were in your parking lot today, or being able to search on that, they're coming with all this capability. And so what we're doing is, we've built a platform that says, okay, you could have your Axis, your Hanwha, different brands, and they have these analytics. You can use that, in our platform. So, it really gives the customer a lot of freedom of choice and to have the best solution possible and not be limited, to what is just available in a proprietary solution. And I would say another thing, of course, is that we're just very focused on our channel, on our resellers, supporting them, making sure that they can take great care of their customers. And we've just always had a great experience doing that. And I would say the last thing that makes us kind of very unique, and I think will change in time for the better. So hopefully we're leading the way on this, but we are a progressive web app. So our app runs completely browser based, and you don't need to download an app. You can log right in from your iPhone, your Android tablet, your Mac, your PC, and then you can just basically install the app right from your login. And you're going to have all the same features, the same type of user experience on any device. And unlike the old days where it only works on Windows and the mobile app is, 10 steps out of date and doesn't have all the features, you can use it anywhere for one low price per device. You can have as many devices that you want to log in from, as many people that you want to give access to, no extra charge. And of course, we're cloud, so no limitation. Awesome. If 1,000 people want to look at this camera, that camera is still streaming to the cloud one time. And so it used to be, even with enterprise solutions and video, you may have a maximum of, 10 or 20 live views externally on a camera, off site, regardless of how good your internet was. How, this cloud really makes all of this remote usage, not just management, very, very easy.
That is amazing. I mean, I work with a lot of clinics, and they use a lot of old kind of proprietary cameras, and they're like, well, we have these, but we don't really want to switch or pay the money to switch them. They want to try and use the old ones. Yeah. It actually comes in handy. It's really nice, especially as a managed service provider. We're coming in, doing what hell knows what in their clinics or the provider office, what they may have had from previous people.
Yeah.
So, yes.
I think that's really important. And, our first step with analytics has been to harness the power, which continues to grow like monthly, with what these cameras can do, and the processing power and the AI power that they have, and all that you get from that. But we're also developing our own local AI box that you'll be able to install. And you can actually, even with our solution, if you use an encoder and your customer has these old analog cameras and they still work and they're not ready to get rid of them, you could be using analytics on analog cameras once we release that. So again, we just want to make this where, here's your platform, and it's going to work in whatever way you need it to with the devices that you want to use.
That is awesome. I have a couple of questions about that.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of clinics. They say like they have 20 clinics for this one company, and they would like to install these cameras, but they don't want to have a device on every single location. Are they able to just have one in a centralized server somewhere at one location, or can it be all through the cloud for them?
So, currently we're focused on a gateway-based architecture.
Okay.
And I could talk for 3 hours about the benefits of that gateway and what it does for you. We're also developing cloud direct capability that I would say would come out maybe in the next year, where, similar to some of our competitors, where you could just connect a camera and it would talk to the cloud and you don't need a local appliance. But at the present date, if somebody was wanting to place that order today, what I would recommend is using one of our, smaller scale, more entry level gateways. If it's only a camera or two or a few, I think our smallest one will do up to 16. So anything in that range, it would accommodate. It's going to be more cost effective. And if you want all of your video storage to be in the cloud, you can just go cloud subscription without any local storage, or you can do both. A lot of flexibility there. And then what you would do is, we're actually natively multi-tenant, which is another thing that was built that's unique to us and allows you to really manage customers at scale. Within that multi-tenant structure, they can have as many sites, as many gateways, as many devices, and there's no end to that. You can just keep adding into that hierarchy to be able to manage all of those sites in unison.
That is awesome. That's very good to know. So my last couple of things for you. What about the amount of training and support it takes to manage these? Is this all in the MSP, or do they get their own training on their side as well?
So we do try to invest in the dealer and the MSP, so that they have the freedom to manage and educate and train their customer the way that they see fit. However, you often find that we're very good about helping with end user training when desired. We have a lot of official training that is free right on our website that anybody can log in and take for zero cost and get certified. I also put all the same training videos on our YouTube channel for free, and all of the various trainings are in their own playlist. And that is accessible to anyone if you just want to brush up on, how to add people, how to, remote manage, how to install a camera. All that stuff is there. Our goal is to be super intuitive so that you don't necessarily need a lot of training. But I think that we've done a really good job of making a lot of training available. We do offer that, and that's free of charge. If you want to do a training with your customer locally, the local salesperson or rep may come in and accommodate with that training. Support sales engineers will often do that for you on a Zoom as well, all free of charge. And then we just try to make sure that you also have a tremendous amount of training content available to you. And something I am very proud of is I work very hard to make sure that we try to keep that up to date quarterly, because we are a SaaS product. We have frequent updates, frequent new features and enhancements. And so, as someone that spent 20 years as an MSP and an integrator in the security industry, oftentimes, telephone even. I used to be an Avaya dealer, when I was an integrator, and, I would take their training and it would be like 5 years old and not relevant to, and it's very common. So we work pretty hard to make sure that those training videos are within a quarter of research.
I like those old 70s HR videos coming out.
Yeah.
You sound like this.
Yeah. We don't even use those words anymore.
I still see those in clinic sometimes. I'm like, how are people still learning from this stuff? This is not up to date.
Well, unfortunately, they're not. They're checking a box. But, I think, look what we're doing here. I mean, look how much easier it is to have video communication, to record video.
Way.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think there's going to be a day soon where everybody's harnessing, all this, convenient technology we have. And I think everybody's training will be up to date eventually. But
I agree. Just kind of putting the word out there, bridging that knowledge gap so they understand why and how they need this and how they can implement it into their business as well.
Yeah.
So, yes. I had a couple of questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I've worked with, say, like Rise cameras and Ring doorbell and stuff. You have this really nice interface on your phone. Now, some clinics say, we have this. This works perfectly for us. Why would you want to switch? And they also say because, we can do this on our own. We don't need you to do it for us. We always have access. We're able to give them access and have them use it on their own as well with your product. We got a couple of questions there.
Yeah. So, I mean, the first one I'll tackle and then remind me the second one as I get through it, because I'm bad about getting lost in my own thoughts. But,
understood.
That's a great question. So, yeah, I can go to, Best Buy, or I can go on Amazon and I can buy a Ring camera, right? So why do I need this? And, those things are intended to be residential. I don't feel that our product is a residentially focused product. We do have customers that will, have it both at their office and also at home just because they like it and they're familiar with it. Or you might work at Qumulex like Josh and have 16 cameras on your house and electronic doors just because you like to test it and experience it. But I also have a Ring camera. We've had one for several years, and I mean it's geared towards residential. It is not scalable, and again, that is all of those solutions are proprietary. So, you're limited kind of to the Ring floodlight and the Ring alarm components, and it's all got to be Ring to work in that Ring app. And in fact, they're so proprietary that you can't bring a Ring camera into our ecosystem or anyone else's. It only works in theirs. So, if you are a business, you want to think about how you can grow, how you can scale, but also the more commercially focused products are going to offer you so much more. If you use a Ring camera, do you want to put that in your lobby? And then is that going to say count how many people were in that lobby for how long and send you an alert? just imagine all that you can do with the commercial cameras, even beyond just security. I mean, it can tell you how long people are waiting in line. So maybe you have, two individuals that are checking in patients. Maybe somebody had to use the facilities and they've been gone a while. An alert can come into someone to say, hey, you've got like 6 people in line right now. And that may alert them, hey, somebody needs to go help out at the desk. Or, if you're trying to manage, I'm sure every organization, healthcare or not, is going to have various metrics and benchmarks they're trying to measure against as far as like how efficient and what the quality of the experience for the patient is. One of those could be how long are people waiting in the lobby? I mean, you can use analytics to actually help your business needs and understand, okay, how long have people been in that lobby on average and how many people are in the lobby at different times of day. And, maybe it helps you understand when you need to staff up, to handle the traffic on an average day. So I think you get, so much more from a commercial product when you're a business. And that's no shade being thrown at Ring there, but it is a niche product with a very specific purpose, just like Nest and all of those. And yeah, I mean, I guess if you run a small solopreneur operation and, you got one door you're watching, I mean, maybe you would be okay. But, what's going to happen when you want to manage the door? I mean, you're going to have a front and a back door, even in that operation. So, something like our solution be very inexpensive to have a single camera with all of that capability. And you could actually control both of those doors and have record of when those doors are open, be alerted if it is open or broken into at a time that you don't want it to be open. So much more that you can do. And then as your business scales, the world is your oyster. You can grow exponentially as much as you need to, and also take advantage of all the new tech.
Definitely agree. I mean, being an MSP, it's kind of my job to work with you and the customer to kind of build that knowledge gap there so they understand how these can increase their efficiency in their business. Yeah, they are way better than just having a little Ring camera.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. A lot of people don't know that yet, but hopefully we can solve that issue for them.
Absolutely. And then I forgot what your second question was. You asked me too, and I ignored the second one.
I actually forgot myself.
Maybe I answered it.
I think you might have answered it within the question you said. Yes, I believe it was answered.
I'm pretty verbose. I probably answer 5 questions every time I answer.
I'm a little ADD, so I'm like, wait, what did I just say? I have my last thing for you. So you may have answered this. I know in my mind you did, but for those listening out there, how is this kind of, I don't want to say checking the box, but for access control in certain, I lost my train of thought. Within certain frameworks that you need, you have access control. Access controls you have to implement. So this would kind of, I guess, check that box for that, correct? You have logging. You can go in and go back and see what's going on. You said you have people up there.
So from not a physical access control like we offer, which is managing your doors and actual physical entryways. You're talking from like a logical access control perspective. Yeah. So we have all the things that you would expect. Obviously, you have the ability to create roles with granular permissions. So as you create users, you can give them access to whatever cameras, whatever doors, whatever information or not that you want them to have access to. And again, there's no limit. We charge a subscription or a perpetual license, which is unique to us as well in cloud. Per device, you can have as many users, you can have as many people, as many access control card holders as you want. So you can easily manage the roles, what access they have. It's very easy to share video clips and again, see an audit trail of who's been looking at it, who's been sharing it, and whether that was appropriate or not. And you can actually recall that access centrally from the app. So you can make that a dead link and nobody can get through there anymore. You can use from a physical access control, gives you that logical control, meaning when can people come in the door. And you can actually tie your video events natively. You can associate one of the cameras from QX Control to one of the doors in QX Control. Any of those door events will automatically trigger an event and record video as far as what is going on at that door. And so you can definitely go back and kind of audit and understand, who's using the facility, who's coming in and out, and have good record of that. So whether it's how you use the app and what you're doing in the app, or whether it's, how you're using the facility, all those controls, are there as you would expect, so that you can kind of document, you know, from an HR perspective, what's going on in your facility. And certainly, again, if somebody's coming in that shouldn't be, then you're definitely going to know that as well.
So
which
with
is
like
important.
HIPAA compliance and high trust, those are a necessary thing, especially for high trust. You have to have all those compliance controls and be looking at all the logs constantly.
Yeah.
So,
And we have all the, we're a very cyber secure solution, but from a user perspective, your admin can even do things like require two-factor authentication, and will log everybody out, and they have to use an authenticator app or a pass key to, not just use a password, to get in. So, I think we're pretty well rounded there. But to be honest with you, always check our training on that, because that is an evolving conversation, and it will always grow. So we're never done with that, and never will be.
Awesome. I know you talked about two-factor authentication.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys up to speed with using key authentication yet? The YubiKeys, stuff like that?
So right now, primarily you would use either pass keys, or you would use an authenticator app of your choice. Okay. And then also, we don't offer them on our own price list anymore, but very compatible with all of those types of access cards that can be used either for the physical access control on the reader to come in and out, or a logical access in order to log in can be part of that multi-factor authentication process that you can enforce. And, they're getting really good. Like, they use a chip very similar to what is used in the iPhone, so that you can use biometric to verify that is the real individual. So we have
awesome. One last thing I'd like to kind of cover with you today. I know you talked about you guys don't just do cameras, but you do door access as well.
Yeah.
So I've worked at a lot of clinics. They like to buy these smart locks. They're not very smart. They're the dumbest things I've ever worked with. I mean, just saying, from an IT perspective. But for them, it works. So in relation to those and your access control for your locks, what kind of will go through that integration? Like, how does that all kind of work? I know you did cover it a little bit.
Yes, I mean, we actually work with many, many manufacturers, the biggest in the world. And there are a lot of different flavors of locks. There is a little bit off camera. I've got a Perio wireless locks on my demo door behind me. And that is something that we offer, and we're partnered with them. But as an example, we have an API level integration with them, and that would actually connect either through one of the Access branded door controllers or the Mercury based door controllers, for example. And actually is part of your door setup in the software. So you're able to see the battery status. You're able to, lock and unlock the doors. So from our perspective, we want to have the best user experience and the best interface to work with, and be as openly compatible as possible. Door hardware is more of a challenge in terms of, I work with every kind of door hardware versus working with almost every kind of camera. But we're actually trying to help change that industry to be much less proprietary, and it has come a long way. So for customers that want to use smart locks, if they want to use mobile credentials, if they want to use Bluetooth, we have tons of options that we're compatible with that they can accomplish that. And as far as the quality of one smart lock to the next, I would agree. There are some that are out there that I don't think honestly are very strong, or don't offer as many features. Maybe they're not very long range in terms of their wireless, and you have to put up a lot of bridges and antennas for them to communicate.
Yep.
Some rely on Wi-Fi. I actually am okay with Wi-Fi, but you're in the MSP world, you understand. I mean, Wi-Fi, you need a proper survey. You need to understand how reliable and quality it is, how it's going to manage traffic, and how you're going to prioritize that traffic so that you don't get so overburdened with actual users. Maybe if you're having a training session or a conference in there, you don't want to bump off your smart lock from operating because you've reached your peak concurrent user state.
I've seen that happen, actually.
It's a combination of the quality of the install from your MSP or integrator, and a combination of making sure that you're using a good device and you're using it in the right environment as well. But I mean, locks, there's a lot of locks that are very intelligent and can do a lot for you. And that is kind of like the cybersecurity. I mean, to me, that a part of our industry is advancing very rapidly. Where traditionally it never has. You know, locks were locks, and they always have been. And you know, they're getting better and better all the time. And we're now seeing an emergence of, you know, I think in the next 5 years, you're going to see like mobile wallet is going to be a huge thing in the access control world, where your credentials going to be sitting right there in your phone, and you don't have to worry about losing it. So
just don't lose your phone.
We're kind of there, right?
Yeah.
That's why I've upgraded to the Apple Watch finally.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about doing that now. I'm getting tired of this whole Android. I'm kind of thinking about going towards Apple. Their security
I just switched.
I
was Android for a few years, and
I'm starting to finally see the downfall of all the Android stuff that's been kind of creeping up more on me. I'm like, well, this sucks. Apple did it. Why can't you?
Well, I tell you, I'm big on open platform and physical security. When it comes to this kind of stuff, I don't have time to program my Android and do all the things you got to do. I appreciate that it exists and that is an option for people, but I like the simplicity, and I've always been kind of a watch guy. So I was always particular about what watch I have and enjoy that. So it's taken me a while to go with like a computer watch, I call them.
Yeah, this is a little embarrassing.
I'm happy with this Apple Watch. I think you'll be pleased. But, you know, that's where we're heading is, you know, you lose your phone. Well, your mobile wallet is here too. And in fact, there's a lot of solutions now. You can just hold that up now. You know, there's already an app for it, and, you know, open it right from your watch. So
it's a little too easy.
There's always that balance, right? It's a combination of ease and a combination of how secure. So,
and most people want it to be ease without understanding the security that needs to or should be involved in it. Just want it to work, get the job done, and move on. But
I remember being in the IT world and giving somebody a speech one time where I said, I can make this so secure that nothing can ever happen, and you will not be able to use your computers. So it is a tricky balance in the IT world for sure. Yeah. And more for us too.
Yes. And every business has its own need for that security in order to get through their day-to-day stuff. So yes.
But the geofencing is really good now, and you know, it understands if you should be there and not letting other people in. And again, security is all about layers. So even if I'm concerned that maybe somebody's going to follow right behind me when I use my fancy Apple Watch to just walk up and wave, you can gesture now. You know, I have the credential, I can gesture, and it'll unlock for me. Well, analytics can be your friend there and say, okay, somebody tailgated, and alert security or alert operations manager, whoever watches that, and they can immediately be alerted, see the video. Yeah, Tony did that again. I got to go to talk to Tony. Tony, you got to wait and swipe in. But, you know, it's using all these technologies together always makes me feel good that, you know, you can really very easily have a very secure situation, yet still kind of present that, you know, frictionless experience that we all want.
Agreed. I'm really big in security, but I've also learned that when you're working with people that do not have that understanding or capacity for it, once again, with the knowledge gap, they went to work of ease and not understand that there's some stuff that needs to be done with it. And getting through those like executives or CEOs of the companies to understand that, it's really hard. It is frustrating. It's like, that's why I have no hair anymore, you know?
Well, when you're talking to executives, you're probably the first person that week to tell them no on anything. So I
like saying it to them. They don't like hearing it.
Yeah.
So they stare me down. I get really
But in the end, they value you because you're telling them the truth, and they can rely on what you're telling them. So that's
100%. I won't
huge value for
stop
MSP.
Fighting.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Josh. It's been a pleasure for us. If people want to look your company up or anything, where can they find you? Where are you located?
Absolutely. So if you go to Qumulex.com, you'll see access to all of our social channels, access to all of our video library. We have a lot of great white papers, instruction manuals, data sheets, collateral, really just to explain anything you want to know about QX control. And you can find us, on LinkedIn and all those social channels as well. So Qumulex.com is a great place to start.
Hell yeah. Thank you very much for your time. If you guys, if our audience has any questions, feel free to reach out to Josh or myself. I'm Justin with ITCMD, and this is Josh from Qumulex.
All right.
Thank you. You guys have a great day. Thank you, Josh.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, that took long.